All right, you guys, we're back for more Pilates, but first we're going to lift some weights, right? Okay, so your homework assignment from last week or last time I talked to you was to go to the grocery store and maybe look kind of weird in the water aisle and find an amount of water that is good for you to lift as a weight, right? And look at this. If I drop this on my toe, it didn't even, well, it hurt a little bit, but water's nice, right? If you use canned goods or your weights that you got at Walmart or something, no. But also, you can't drink hand weights if there's an emergency, right? So this is cool. So let's change a couple things. So I'm going to start out, we'll start out with our favorite bicep curls, but look, I'm doing one arm at a time because I think this tends to cancel our momentum, right? Okay, here's what I'm talking about. If I do two arms at a time, watch my gallons of water. Whee! Whee! It's not what we want. So I'm trying to make this as hard for you as possible. And I shouldn't say hard, I just mean precise. I just want you to be precise, right? And but seriously, the reason you're doing Pilates and not some other workout is that it is very specific, right? So you're not just supposed to do it however you want. There are variations, but even the variations the variations are according to certain rules. And the rules are designed, one, to keep you safe, and also two, to work the muscles that we intend to work, right? So we're working muscles, by doing that, right? It's just not the muscles that we intended to work. That's a very big, important part, right? Nothing is a waste of time. It's just, are you using your time effectively? So when you find your weights in the store, in the water aisle, make sure that they don't, that it's comfortable, because this is not very comfortable. In fact, I can only fit 2 fingers. These must be gallons of water made for a little baby. This is a gallon of Pedialyte, and the baby's supposed to carry it themselves. So you know what is, let's do one more of each. And we can start to count a little more than we normally do. And I'll tell you the number that I'm going to go for is the lucky number 7. Why? So this is a straight arm back. Remember, we're going to bend our arm later, but this is a straight arm back. Why did I pick 7? Because if you can't do 7, and this is old school, this is very old school, and there may be some new theories, but the old school theories, if you can't do 7, then you need to reduce the weight. And then from 7, if 7's too easy, you can go all the way up to 12 while I'm talking or resting. And then if 12 is too easy, if 10 to 12 is too easy, then you need to add weight, right? So if 7 is too hard, subtract weight, and if 10 to 12 is too easy, add weight. And you gotta be honest on both ends, right? You can probably squeak out 7 of anything, but your form is gonna suffer. So 7 has to be doable with good form. So see how I'm canceling out the swinging momentum of these gallons, right? Okay, so I wanted to get you started. We're almost up to 7, believe me. I'm in the ballpark. I can count and talk at the same time, I think. Okay, so this is our straight arm, reach back tricep. Okay, so, and then we do this one Again, we're going to do one at a time. So, well, tell you what, maybe we'll do, yeah, we'll do both of these because this is less likely to be affected by momentum, right? And we're not going to do, I'm going to try to read, we're not going to do 7 of these because this is an uncommon exercise. This is harder than the other things. Okay, so why am I so rude? Why didn't I say welcome to everybody, glad you're here? Because I want you to jump in and just get started right away, right? I know you don't want to stand around waiting for me to say how nice it is to be back with you and thanks for tuning in. But now that we're into it, I can say, hey, great to see you, and it is great to be with you, and I'm so glad that you decided to click on this video and do this together. And so you were going to do one more. Okay, so don't panic. Here we go. We're going to come up, and then let's go back to alternating, okay? So one down. So my palms are up. If I forgot to mention it, my palms were up in the previous, let's try this, yeah. So something like that. So my palms were up in the previous bicep curl. My palms were up in that tricep movement. Okay. So this is rather uncommon as well, so you don't have to do a full 7. We're going to do one more on each side. Okay. And look, if I hit my head, it's just water, right? Okay, let's come down. Okay, reach down and pull up. So you guys, I understand there's a million Pilates videos that you could be watching instead of this. So why are you watching this? It's because that the spirit of group exercise is that we know each other, or we're going to come to know each other, like us or not. We know each other, and that's the spirit of group exercise. It's not that I'm the best teacher in the world. It's not that I wear the fanciest spandex or have the greatest certification, because honestly, a trained monkey could get the hang of this pretty quick, right? So it's the group dynamic, right? And even through video, there's a group dynamic. Now, I could name all of you, all of my regulars, but don't dare me to do it, because if I leave one person out, he or she would be so crushed and offended. But I know I could name at least 20 of you, right? I just switched arms, okay? And I love you all, and I miss you all so much. And if there's new people tuning in, and they're looking for the cat, they're like, where's the cat? And why aren't we doing, they're saying, why aren't we doing Pilates? Why are you lifting weights? Well, this was by popular demand. You guys wanted to lift some weights. We will get to Pilates, and we will be joined by a cat. I'm just about certain, okay? But let's do one more of these. Okay, great. And you can fast forward through this if you want. That's the other beauty of the video. You could have already taken a water break. You could. So look at palms down, please. Palms down, knuckles up, however you choose to look at it. Okay. So yeah. So if you're new, I'm Carlos, and we're going to do the classic 34, and we're just doing some weights beforehand with whatever you have laying around the house, canned goods. You could make weights out of like Lego blocks. No, you can't. No, it has to have some weight to it. Canned goods, I'm afraid if you drop that on your toe, that's going to hurt. Okay. And then my regulars know that we chit-chat a lot, but I can't talk to you guys. I can tell you a joke. I could tell you a joke that I told to the enhanced fitness class. Well, maybe Yeah, better not. Hang on. Well, I don't want to lose count. I was hoping that I might actually count more precisely because I have less to do, right? Since I have less to talk about, I can count more effectively, but it doesn't matter. I tend to go by time, not by repetitions, right? So let's go behind, and again, I'm going to do one arm at a time, and the palms are, I guess you'd say the palms start out facing forward, and then they end up facing down. So I cancel out that momentum, drop the arm down, other arm, exhale up, inhale down. This is great. So these water bottles are keeping me very honest. I'm not allowed to use momentum. You would see, if I had any swing going, you'd see that, right? So I have to stop here, come back to here. And I may be a little more sore tomorrow, but I think it's worth it. So we can even add in a balance here. Yeah, why not? And you guys are free to not do it or whatever you like to do. Okay, good. So let's just do one more on each side. Okay. So let's go back up again. We'll do even fewer of these than we did the first time, okay? Because this is an uncommon thing and it turns your shoulders in different ways, right? So we don't want to do, I don't think you really should even do 12 of these, even if you could, right? So I'm going to go up one more time. And then I'm going to turn my palms down, and this will be really hard. Okay. So I know, a lot of you have your hands sideways now, and if that's the only way you can do it, it's better than nothing, but that's, again, we try to persuade ourselves to try it in a way that is not the first way that you would do it. Because, for instance, let's do one more with each arm. Okay, down. So, for instance, you hardly ever even do a bicep curl in real life. Most of everything you pick up is picked up with your arm sideways, right? So it's not a natural. So a lot of what we're doing here is not natural anyway, right? So that's a given. Okay, so let's see. How about, well, I don't want to do our flies because when we do our fly, let's skip that. Maybe we can do that when we're laying down. Okay, so I'm going to put the weights away. We'll do our balance, and then we'll take our first break, okay? So stay with me if you can. You can always pause, take your first breath. So I think we will do, let's do our awkward pose from Bikram Yoga. I'm going to turn sideways. Okay. So remember, it starts out here. Okay, I'm going to try not to lean back. I'm going to try not to lean forward. I'm going to sink straight down. See, I start to lean back. I don't know what's wrong with my body, but you want to be as vertical as you can. Okay. Okay, good. Where's the balance? Okay, here comes the balance. Hold this same exact shape and rise up onto your toes. And we'll just stay here for a while. If you drop down, take a breath, pause, reset, come up. You're not in any hurry. Okay, and then try not to struggle. So let me show you. I'd rather see you go, oops, down to here, and then take a breath, come back up. I'd much rather see that than this, right? So you see the difference? Much better to have some dignity and say, whoops, come back up, than to go through heroics, right? Okay, so good. So are you still with me? And I was able to come down, so you guys are doing better than me. Okay, good. So that's plenty. That's plenty. All right, you want to do some more? Do it more throughout the day. I'd like to see you do that a few times during the day for a short amount of time, rather than going for a huge record. So we'll take our first break. I'll get a cat. We'll come back. I'll meet you down on the mat, and we'll do some Pilates. Okay, we'll do the original 34. Great, great, great. Okay, we are back. We're back for the mat work, and as I may or may not have mentioned, we'll be doing the original 34. It's kind of nice to do the original 34 because you know this is the way Joseph Pilates wanted it to be done, right? And and every teacher has embellished, taken away, or added after that. And I actually am going to take away a couple of exercises that we just figure are, they're a little too dangerous for me to endorse, okay? So, but I'll explain, and I have explained. If you're a regular, you've heard me say this a million times, but that's part of the fun, right? So lay back. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through, we will add some resting, but if you want more workout, you blow through the rest and continue to do your repetitions. Come here, Banu. I don't even know if you can see my cat anymore. Come here, Banu. Banu, come over here. Well, anyways, if you can't see him, too bad. Let me check and see if you can see him. That's half the fun. Oh, there he is. Okay. Make sure you... No, come back over here. Come here, Banu. Ugh, man, that's a heavy cat. That's one heavy cat. Oh, my back. All right. Let's get started. Hug your knees to your chest. Let's do our favorite twist to start out with. Knees to one side, head to the other. So I'll do the best I can today, but as you can see, my back is not doing too good. So you might get a nice, easy variation of some of the poses. I'm bringing the knees to the other side. All right, let's come back to center, hug your knees, and we'll go right into our hundreds, right? So I may as well just show all the variations, even though we're doing the classic. This is not the classic. This is with the legs in a chair shape. Okay, my abs are engaged, pulling my shoulders up, and so my neck should not be being affected, really. Okay, and then a lot of people like this, either with the legs here or legs turned out with the heels pressed together. And then 45 degrees maybe. And then eventually you can come down to here, which is the classic. That's 40. 50. Where'd my cat go? Got cat fur all over me. And up to 80. Final 10. All right, hug your knees to your chest, and then we can go right into our roll-ups. Inhale back, exhale up. Oops. Oops, that first one wasn't too good. That was terrible. That first one's always bad. So look, if I'm gonna go where he is, keep doing your roll-ups. Keep going. There we go. Are you on about 7? We'll do 10. Or we'll do that magic number of 7, okay? So you can continue to do your roll-ups, okay? Or go into your rollover. So the rollover is not the boomerang. Remember, we stop here, go over to here, stop here, come back to here. So here. With control. So I wanted to be in front of the mirror so I could check my form, but you're just gonna have to bear with me. Okay, that's the rollover, and we'll do single leg circle. Remember, tight abs, loose hip. Oh, he's purring. Oh. You gotta hear that. I don't know if you can. You won't be able to hear it now. Maybe you can. Come to a complete stop. One more. Hug your knees. Switch legs. Can you hear that? I can hear him purring. Okay, one more. Great. Hug your knees, rock to sitting. And we'll do the rolling back, otherwise known as rolling like a ball. So, you know what? Let me check this one more time. Hang on, take a little unauthorized water break. I just want to make sure that, no, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we can get a lot closer. You gotta hear this guy. He's the best. What was that? Rolling like a ball. You've already been doing, you're up to about 10 or 20. So, I'm making the assumption that most of you are either regulars or you've done Pilates before. Okay, next time I go back. Okay, single leg stretch. Now he stopped purring. I'll be quiet. Keep going. Let's do the double leg stretch. See, what he needs is his little brush. He likes this brush. There, you hear that now? Uh-oh, now he's leaving. All right, forget it. Double leg stretch. Remember, you can still be holding your head. If the arms and legs go higher, it's easier. This is harder. All right. One more. Hug your knees, rock to sitting. Spine stretches next. That's the one with the legs wide. Sit tall, lengthen the spine. Arms flat, deep breath, exhale over. Inhale up, keep the feet flexed. Where are you going? Oh, jeez. Shouldn't have touched him. Well, I'm not going to move anymore. I don't think. Come back here. Come here. Psst, psst. Inhale up, exhale down. Ready for the open leg rocker. So I'm going to just come right here. Remember, just balancing here and coming up as high as you can on your ankles with your legs straight is a pretty interesting alternative. And it works just about everything we're trying to work without the rocking and rolling. All right, so let's do our corkscrew. Lay back, feet together. So inhale around, exhale, come to a stop. Inhale other way, exhale, stop. So this could be the small controlled circle, and you could lay your hand on your abs to feel it. But Joseph Pilates, he got pretty into it and would bring the hips up off the mat. Breathe freely. We don't need this here anymore. So your head could be up or down, doesn't matter. How about one more? All right, hug your knees, rock to sitting. So what we're going to do, the saw is everybody's favorite. It's number 11, but we're going to add in, come here, Banu. Banu, psst. Come here, Banu. All right, forget the cat. The saw, the legs are narrower. I think I demonstrated to you why my legs are narrower because, well, first we'll get started. Okay, so we're gonna add number 19, the twist. The twist is just here, but this is implied, right? So come to a complete stop and we won't have to do 19. Come to a complete stop and then dive down. Okay, so as much as I can, this is a straight line. But if this leg is out to here, there's no straight line anywhere. Even if I can reach my foot, it's this curved, it's not, so it lacks precision. So here, stop, here, down. Okay. So that's why I have the legs narrower. Make sure to get a good twist, otherwise we'll have to do number 19 as a separate exercise. Stop here and then roll that under. So this is a good time to watch my hand, because in class you're all bent over, you can't see what's going on here. So this palm turns up like so. And it can be straight, it doesn't have to be like that. That's not right. There you go. Perfect. One more to each side. I'll stop talking. All right, great. Next is the Swan Dive. Okay, this is the one that one of the ones I can't do too well on account my back is hurting me, but we'll all struggle through it together. All right. Well, I lied when I said I'm not going to move on account of the cat. I will move the cat. we're gonna have this be cat Pilates if I have to move all the way around the dojo. Okay. Watch this. Your guys are preparing for your Swan Dive. There he is. Maybe a little closer. Okay. Okay, remember the Swan Dive? We're here. Come here. Come up slightly. Point your feet, bring your feet up. So, I'm engaging my abs to protect my back, but it still kind of hurts my back. So I may not do the diving part. The diving part would be to come up and just get a little, bring the hands up, get a little rocking going. I don't know why he likes this cone. All right, so like so, but I'm not going to do a big rocking because on account of my back. And also on account of my back, we'll go back to a nice child pose. This will feel good. Okay, we'll come out into our Sphinx pose. This is not one of the Pilates exercises. This is just a intermediary pose where we allow the abs to stretch, allow the back to bend slightly. Then we go into our single leg kick. So the classic is just the simple snap kick, exhaling each time. And then I think when we did our set of Pilates with the yoga infusion, we didn't do our double kick because the double kick is so similar to a couple of different yoga poses. But now we'll do our classic Pilates double kick. Drop down to your chin, join your hands behind your back, bring your feet together, point your feet, and then allow your elbows to sink down, whether you can see mine or not. So I can almost get my elbows to the mat. Okay, we're ready to go. Inhale, kick just once, and exhale, then pull yourself up and back. Drop your head to one side, elbows down, inhale, kick, exhale up, head to the other side, bye. Elbows down, inhale, kick, exhale up, back and forth. Inhale down, exhale up. One more to each side. All right. Back to child pose. So 15 is known as the neck pull. It's another roll up with your hands behind your head, sort of leading with your elbows, right? And so since most people can barely do a decent roll up, we just do our roll up. But look, if you're at an expert level, there's a lot of ways you can make your roll up more difficult. You can go straight up to the ceiling. You can have your hands back here. I'm just going to do some more beginner roll ups. Inhale back, exhale up. Come as far forward as you can each time, 2. And again, my form is because of my back's not feeling too good, but doing the best I can. We'll do a couple more of these. About one more. So the way I like to transition into the scissors is, as long as I'm here and my leg is handy, I'll just take it back with me and go right into my scissors. So I'll tell you why more recently we've been skipping the bicycle. We've been skipping it for 3 reasons. One is in our where most of us do class together, we're kind of short on time. 2, it's dangerous. It's potentially dangerous for your neck. And then 3, people just are not getting much out of it because it's very difficult to really figure out the spirit of the movement. But since we're being immortalized for all time on video, we will do our bicycle. So we come up to like here. This is where it's dangerous for the neck, all right? Because if you come too far back, you're going to hurt your neck. Okay, and you don't have to prop yourself up. You could be here. But either way, so most people are just kind of going like this. And so it's not even, for all your trouble to get up here, you're not getting any kind of a work at all. But what I'm trying to do is reach really far forward and really far back simultaneously. But it's still not, and then reverse, it seems to be still not, I don't know. Of all the 34, I think it's like pretty weak as far as an exercise. Let's come back down. But there it is. If you like it, do it. We'll do our shoulder bridge. So this is much more relevant to working our core. Okay, remember, Lindsay, get ready. First thing that happens before we go up is we go down, draw the abs down. And that tips the pelvis upward, so the pelvis goes, whoop, and then the tailbone points skyward, and then we can peel the spine away from the mat, 1 vertebra at a time. Okay. Slowly, slowly, slowly. If they all came up in bunches at first, you get another opportunity on the way back down. 1 vertebra at a time, and then since we do this several times, each time you get a chance to re-inventory your spine. You can even lay your hand on your abs to kind of force yourself down. Inhale up, exhale down. So the only thing we don't want to do is to plank up and plank down really fast, like in gym class, like we used to do in gym class. So you could do it once as an explosive movement, just for fun, right? Just to see, because we were talking about every now and then we'll talk a little bit about martial arts, and this is one way to get somebody off of you, right? If somebody's on top of you, you need to pick a side. You can't just throw them straight up; they'll come straight back down. So you kind of just tend to explode up and push them off with your hips, and then roll over and get out of there, run away. So you can experiment with making a more dynamic, explosive movement. But anyway, so that's not how we do the whole exercise. So there's the shoulder bridge, hug your knees to your chest. So we don't do number 20, the jackknife, because it's also very risky to the neck if you don't do it quite right. So we just turn over and do our side kick. Okay. Point the foot forward, flex the foot back. And then we can skip number 27 later, the side kick kneeling. You can just sort of add that if you wanted to. You can come up to here. And then of course you always have the option to do your side kick, from your plank if you just are really into this stuff, right? But that's kind of overkill. So just a couple more of these, and then we'll just turn over and just do the other side, right? Something happened there where moving the microphone around actually disconnected it. So it's actually been a whole week, and I'm going to re-record the second half of what we just did. And sorry about that, but this, so you can see it's a different cat and everything. So we were doing our side kick, and let's see, I want to make sure I have the right leg down. Okay, yeah, so we flipped over, and we'll do our left side kick. This is Baby Monster, if you don't recognize her. She's real skinny in the summer. So remember, so there's many varieties, if I can remember. This is a week ago, right? So so this is the other side. So here, oh, she looks terrible. She's been rolling around in the dirt. She's not a neglected cat, I promise. And she has a little blemish on her nose. She has an allergy to mosquito bites, and so she suffers more than normal cats. So I believe we went from this to this, maybe here, and then, if I remember correctly, we actually tried it from plank, right? So like this, because we're doing the classics, which are a little harder. Okay, speaking of harder, we'll go into the teaser. So remember the classic, the legs are always up instead of going up and down. So we end up someplace like here. I don't want to knock her over with my hand, so I'm going to come down to here, exhale up, inhale down, Exhale up. How about one more? Excellent. Lay back. Hug your knees. Isn't she sweet? And then we'll do our hip twist. Rock to sitting. And so I'll face away from you. It's a little more, I'll face obliquely away from you. And we'll do this. So the classic was done up on your arms like this. But we've determined that it's just better back on your elbows unless you sag down. So just don't sag down and we'll be okay. So start with your legs high, circle around, come to here, circle around the other way. So sample that and then see if you can bring your legs wider and lower, maybe enlarging your circle. And even if you can't lower your legs, you can bring them a little further. You can make an oval up here. So this won't go into your back as much, but it'll give you more twist. Hope I'm not sagging down too much. And then just for fun, we can try it up here. Much harder. One more. Oh, that is harder. All right, so let's do swimming. Look at this sweet creature. So do your swimming. So let's review the Pilates breath because it's easy to demonstrate now. So as we're swimming, let's do a long, even breath. And as you're swimming, as you inhale, pull the abs up off the mat. That makes sense. But then as you exhale, pull the abs off the mat. And as you inhale, they remain high. I mean, they may not actually come off the mat, but you feel the difference. So all that means is that your abs are always lightly engaged. And so then if you're used to belly breathing, you have to breathe in your chest, your back, your sides, right? But then there's also a pulse breath that's very popular, and that's what we do in our hundreds, right? Sometimes, so you could do four on an exhale, 4 on an inhale through the nose. And then go back to child pose. So some teachers do 5 pulses, but that won't work with your music, right? What a sweet cat. Yeah. Let's stretch out again in the same position and do our leg pull. So when we're prone, this is called the leg pull front. So actually, forget about the arms. Let's just do the leg. Just focus on the leg. Keep the leg nice and straight. Inhale up, exhale down, point the toe. So that would be sort of the classic. The actual classic is from the plank, but if you want to jazz it up, you can lift the opposite arm. Or you could try from your plank. All right, and then the leg pull. We can go back to child pose too if you want. And then the leg pull sitting is just called the leg pull. And if you're going to sit, so the classic is done from the upward plank, but if you're just going to sit, remember you can't sit back, otherwise it's just ridiculously easy. Sit forward with your good posture, chest high. Inhale up, exhale down. Just remember, if it's too easy, lean forward a little bit. And then if that's too easy, arms behind you, point your toes. Don't pop up. Float the hips up. All right, that's plenty. Okay, or keep doing them. You guys, you know, if you want more reps, you have to steal your extra reps wherever you find them, right? You can't wait for me to give them to you. So let's do our side bend. The classic is done with both knees bent. And remember, when I say bend both knees, there's this primal urge to draw your knees up like a baby in the uterus, right? Keep those knees away. Why? Because you want everything in a line here, right? And then we'll go up and over. She's kind of doing it with us a little bit. Sorta. Okay, and then the classic can also be done from your plank. Remember, the easiest plank is with the feet splayed out. The top leg is forward, bottom leg is back. Come up to here. Remember, we have a bunch of varieties for this. Sag down, come all the way up. So the actual classic is with the feet stacked. One more. So the modern version is with one leg bent, one leg straight. But so if we're going to stick with the classics, at least bend both legs nice and flat across here. Isn't she sweet? Isn't she sweet? Okay, so then I believe I went from hands to feet. A couple more of these. So a plank, we would never come down to here. And we would also stay here. We wouldn't come up this high too, just so you know the difference. That's enough. So then number 29 is the boomerang, you guys. And we usually put this towards the beginning to use as a warm-up, right? But the classic set is rearranged, and Joseph Pilates had definite ideas about why the order was the way it was. I won't bore you with those ideas. So here we go. Only come halfway up the back. You can just feel the tips of the shoulder blades. I don't mean the shoulders, I mean the shoulder blades. Shoulder blades are right here. You can switch your feet around each time if you want. That's all just about stretching your hamstrings a little bit more. Exhale forward, inhale back. We'll do one more of these, meaning we'll go back one more time. Come up. And so the thing about the classic 34 is they flow one into the other fairly gracefully. So when we came up, we could go right into our seal, but I chose not to transition so abruptly. So come up to your seal. Remember, your seal is, if you don't want to do your seal, just do your seal balance, right? Okay, so I'm holding my ankles lightly, and then the back is rounded. I'm ready to rock and roll whenever you're ready. Inhale back, exhale up. In the classic, they actually do clap the feet. The reason for that, I'm told, is not to be funny. It's to ensure that you're not holding tension in your hips. See? Excellent. That's enough. So then next comes the rocking, which is sort of an augmented yoga bow pose. That's Nancy's favorite. And so I'm just going to do a little rocking because I still have some back issues. So okay, so you're on your chin and you reach back for your ankles. Well, what if right there you can't get your ankles? We've discussed this before, but I'll tell you again. I don't want anybody to feel left out. You won't be able to do the whole exercise, but you're going to come over onto your side, bring your knee up, and find that ankle one way or the other. And then as best you can, turn back facing down, and you could either do the same thing on the other side to find that other ankle, or just stick with just one ankle, okay? If you're just doing one ankle, you won't be able to do the rocking, but you can certainly do a really good half bow. I'm engaging my abs to protect my lower back, and I come up in my half bow. Come back, baby. She got bored with us already. It occurs to me my head could be cut off here. How about that? If my head was cut off, you don't need to see that anyway. All right, so this is a yoga bow pose. My knees are higher than it looks because these are loose shorts, right? But they don't have to be high. It's about bowing your body. And then Joseph Pilates added this rocking, so just a little bit of rocking. That's enough for me and my poor back. I knew she'd come back. So don't let your legs go like a slingshot. Let them go gently with control. It's a good girl. All right. So then 33 is the control balance. We're not going to do that. That's one of those things that you can roll onto your neck and paralyze yourself or give yourself a mini stroke. They're finding out about those mini strokes. Remember we learned a few years ago that people were having mini strokes from falling asleep on airplanes, and their neck would go crank, and they'd wake up and they'd find out that they'd had a mini stroke. And so the same thing with a lot of yoga and some Pilates. Got to be careful. So let's do our push-up. We'll do the classic. We'll do 3 sets of 3, which I believe is, Joe either did one down and one up, or 3 sets of 3. So what I'm talking about is first your best yogic push-up, which means the elbows don't go out to the sides, they stay in here. I'm going to turn obliquely towards you. See what you see me saying? Elbows not out like this, elbows in like this. Inhale down, exhale up. I said 3. And then, so like I say, Joseph either did this each time or he would do 3, but it's not like we do 100 push-ups. Relax here, this should feel good. And then walk your hands out. 3 more, please. Back to here. You get the idea. You could stop here in your downward facing dog and give yourself a good stretch here first, especially if you can't reach the floor when you're upright. Okay. Ready for our last set? Downward dog. Walk the hands back. All right, come on. Let's come out just far enough to drop down to hands and knees. Do some nice cat and cow. So this is yoga, this is not Pilates, but they say Joseph Pilates liked the cat and the cow. And then do one more of each. And then move the spine laterally from side to side. Okay, so then lay back and hug your knees. We will end with our usual twist, and then you can do a little meditation. So it occurs to me, my Pilates people seem to hate meditation. I don't know if you just hate meditation or if you don't like to meditate around other people. So if it's the latter, then you're lucky because you can meditate. It's really good for you, you guys. But first our twist, knees to one side, head to the other. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do too. I'm just going to leave you alone. Just you and my cat. If she'll cooperate, you can meditate with her and I'll sneak away. So not just yet. Let's twist over to the other side. And I've explained in the past that it's more correct to keep both shoulders down on the mat, even if your knees can't come over as far. So I'm going to go to the other side and show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to go all the way over, bring my knees all the way over, and I think I've done a real feat, but my shoulder is 6 inches off the mat. So something's got to give for most people. And in this case, I'm going to return my shoulder to the mat and then keep the knees hovering. And if you keep your knees hovering, you're going to keep working here too, so that's good too. Okay, back to center. Hug your knees one last time. Prepare for your final meditation. And it can just be long, even breathing. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. When you're ready, first maybe do some shoulder rolls, maybe a very careful neck movement, not a complicated circular movement, just a simple movement of the neck. One last breath and then exhale, collapse, and we'll see. So go into your long, deep, even breathing. So this is not the Pilates breathing into the upper body. This is the breathing into your belly like an infant. Relax completely. And I'll leave you alone. I'll see if you can just meditate with my kitty cat.